Okay, we are now testing to make sure Mom has good internet reception and one can hear her. So Mom, you're supposed to say a couple of brilliant things as a test.
Okay. I'm ready and raring.
Keep talking.
Keep talking, okay. The wind is blowing, the sun is shining, the tree is growing.
Now, I'm not sure why nobody's showing up. Normally there are some people. And it has a sign saying tag friends. Janine is on. Okay, we're rolling.
Hi, Janine.
Mom, talk. Janine, can you hear her clearly? Hi, Mary Lou. Can you hear her clearly? Guys, let us know if you can hear her clearly. Mom, you gotta talk.
I'll speak loud. I just didn't want to interfere. Hello, all of you. And I love you. And I'm going to take something to drink.
I can't tell because I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Janine says she can hear you. Mary Lou, can you hear her clearly? Mom, you've got to talk.
And Mary Lou, you're so far away and yet you're here. I love you.
And Elena Taylor.
Hi there.
Can you folks hear her clearly?
Yes. Joni keeps saying I should talk, but
we'll never know if they can hear you.
You're right.
Okay. Janine says she can hear you loud and clear.
Thank goodness.
Beautiful. Okay, Joni, because it's hard for you to speak, I should probably speak, right?
Okay, it's time to start, Mom. And Kenny is going to read any of the statements.
Okay. Let me begin with saying, welcome all of you. You've become a family of mine. But I have to tell you something. The idea of meeting in Orchard Street, I was in Woodstock, and there were so many people, but there was no violence. And I didn't know that there was no violence because everybody was drugged. But nowadays, there are people with guns. And whenever they're allowed many gatherings, somebody comes along with a gun and shoots. So we can't have that reunion. We'll have a different way of doing a reunion. My daughter is moving her head, saying no, 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 no. I want the reunion. But I don't know what has been happening. What I'm speaking about today is the story that's posted on my wall, which introduced me to such a different world on Orchard Street. And thanks to that is the man for whom I did the painting, Sandy Smith, and he gave me permission to say anything I wanted to say. And he once gave me a book that he had written about his life and his family. And I said, Sandy, you don't want me to talk about this? And he said, sure, why not? They're all dead. And I need to explain the other world of Orchard Street that I didn't know. I have to give you my background, okay? When I was 8 years old, I had the most wonderful teacher in Vienna. And I thought of the world as being a very friendly and kind place because neighbors were kind. And then suddenly Hitler came and I wasn't allowed to sit next to children who were Christian, and I had to leave the school. And the whole world, and I've mentioned that before, but it's why I paint what I paint. It is who I became. And I couldn't figure out how the people who used to smile at me were supposed to be people I was supposed to be afraid of. And right after that, we got visas to Panama. and we went into hiding in our apartment, and nobody turned us in. They would have been rewarded if they would have said, there are Jews in this apartment, because then everything could have been taken away from us. But they didn't. So my knowledge of the world was a very kind knowledge. In Panama, I went to sister school, which in my case, I only had very kind teachers. And so please understand, when I first ended up in Orchard Street, I really expected only goodness. And when I got to know Sanford Smith, Sandy, and do paintings for him, it is now looking back that I realize when I read his story, there was so much crime. Crime on individuals. I remember in one of the stories, speaking of a street being roped off because somebody had been killed there. It seemed to me like a mystery, because I probably knew the person who had been killed. So let me put my glasses on and read a part of Sandy's story that now has a different feeling. Because when he gave me a book that he had written, by the way, I checked with him and said, Sandy, can I really talk about what I know? And he said, go right ahead. And I said, but there's so much about your family that puts them into a dangerous light. And he said, so what? They're all dead anyway. So I have complete permission. Let me begin right now with some of the people in the painting. Joni, do you want to show the painting?
Certainly.
It's on the wall.
There'll be a moment while I'm pulling it up.
Yeah.
And maybe at this point I should read
Perfect.
the comments, Mom?
Sure.
Okay. So, Janine says hi, Hedy. And Marie-Lou says hi. And Elena says hi, Hedy. And people have said that you were clear as a bell. And Marie-Lou said, me too, love you, loud and clear. And Joe Tripp said the sound is great. And Martha said hi, Hedy and crew. And Shirley Baker said, Hedy, love you. And Rona Rosenberg-Fraser is watching. And Sandy said, good evening, Aunt Hedy, love you, from Sandy and Ismail. And Rona and Johanna are watching. And Johnny Santana says, hi, Hedy, love. And Julie Williams is watching too. And Julie says, hi, all.
Well, you're all with me. Okay, now let me tell you about this. There are the front of the Zion Memorial Chapel stands at 41 Canal Street. All the people whom I met there were amazing. Sandy had so many people working for him, but I didn't know the stories. There's a man who had kept a big pigeon coop on his roof. He used to smuggle heroin on the pigeon's legs, but one day he squealed on someone, and they called him to a phone booth and shot him dead. During Prohibition, the garage was used for bootleg liquor. Now Eddie Shore, standing next to the Smith 1941 antique Ford, wearing a black shirt and tan trousers, restores antiques in back of the garage. The front is used for the cars and the hearses of Zion Memorial. You will read it yourself, okay? But I did want to tell you that I didn't know at that time how much crime was going on. Okay? It sounds romantic now, but if you're shot and killed, it stops being romantic. I spoke to people, and I was completely unafraid, because I'd been used to luck. And when the youngsters who got paid on Fridays would come on Fridays into Orchard Street, and the policeman would say to me, "Watch it, the kids are coming, be very careful." But I wasn't afraid. So when they came close to me, I would say, "Do me a favor, walk over to the part, the sign which I'm painting. I can't read from a distance. Would you tell me what color that letter is?" And suddenly they were belonging and were helping me, and they became my friends. I didn't know that in the meantime they were stealing things from people. So I don't want you to think that my Orchard Street was a paradise. It was for me. But it must make you realize that we know so little of the people around us. We only see with how they treat us. And now that I'm 91 3/4, I don't walk into places which are dangerous. I've learned not to answer people on Facebook if I don't know them. So let me now begin with my tree, which is really the story of our lives. Okay? Let me tell you what I've been doing. I can take my glasses off.
Okay, and I'm taking the focus off the painting now, right?
Yes.
Oops. You fell down.
Oops,
Now
I
you're
fell
back.
down. I'm back. I need to talk about the tree. The sun is in my eyes, but if I go this way, up to now it was in back of Joni. Okay, now we're fine because the painting is visible. I would like to know your thoughts, because the tree is changing. It always changes. And there was a time when I could sit in front of a tree and drive over. I can't drive anymore. And the tree keeps on doing things. And my decision was the following. Why don't I just paint one side? And I'm imagining it now because I can't be there. That tree is now covered with green. Excuse my little dog. He's my daughter's dog and very noisy, but very cute.
Very excommunicated.
She just took him out. I need to tell you what I'm doing with it. You see?
Just to let you know, you can't see the painting yet.
You can't see the painting. I can move the painting.
No, that's fine. I can't get both you and the painting in the screen.
Oh, I'll move.
Okay. I'm actually looking at the tree, so you should point at what you want people to see.
Okay. What I want you to see is they're reaching to the sun. And I made a huge decision this time, because there is a side here also, but I'm not going to put it in. I'm going to show the greatness of reaching out even when you can't have all you want, of painting even when you cannot go there. We all face that. With the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't visit people. Suddenly, it's gently lifting. Not for me. I'm still wearing my mask. Life is too precious. Okay? I'm wearing a tree because I wanted to be a partnership. What I'm going to do now, because it's harder for me to stand long, so I am going to come closer. Okay? I think I'm going to let this tree be my age. I can't drive anymore. I can't sit for a long time. I can't stand for a long time. But I'm here. So I began to think I would put little green buds there. I don't know. Give me your thoughts on it. Now, do you see over here? I asked Jessie, my wonderful grandchild, what to do about roots. And he said they're underneath. Sometimes they pop up, but they travel. So my next decision for next week will be, do I give it roots? Do I give it roots there? I'm not going to touch this anymore because it shows what all of us become. And what I hate about being 91 3/4, I hate the way my skin looks. But then again, look at this skin. So it means I have to give up looks if I want to keep on living. Or I could stop looking in the mirror. I think I'll do both. Okay? Now, let me talk about other things. Let's see. My time, it is now 10 after 7, which means I'm rich. Okay. When...
You have 15 minutes.
Oh, I have 20 in my watch. Am I wrong? But interrupt with any comments, okay? Okay. Let me tell you this.
Okay, should I interrupt with some comments?
Yes.
Okay, so Julie Williams says, wow, so much progress. Look at all these new branches. And her nan is watching, and I said, amazing. And Shirley Baker said, beautiful. And Janine said, it is a tree that is embracing life. And Tammy gave a smiling face. And Lisa Volpe said, I love to see my tree so beautifully depicted. And Mary Lou said, whoa, look at those branches. Lots of us are in your painting. Love stories and memories. And Janine said, it's just so beautiful. And Shirley said, your beauty shines. You can't hide it. And Sandy said, you look beautiful, Aunt Hedy.
If I get conceited...
And Martha Bilski, said, love the light on the branches. And also, you are gorgeous.
If you love the light on the branches, does that mean I should not put anything green on them? It's my debate right now. Because I look out and I see trees, and they all have little bits of green on them already. But as an artist, if you do a tree, you have the freedom of doing what you want to. Now, John Terracusa, 2 weeks ago, sent me that incredible article about the temple. And it influenced Johnny Santana to send me something wonderful, which was a story that he made up, which he was able to cut and paste and do things about when we first met. But the problem is, I don't know how to separate it from all our conversations that we had. So, Johnny, please, because I wanted to post it today, please send it to me without any writing. No, except your writing, but none of our conversation. That I'm keeping as a treasure. But to post on the wall, I wanted that I want the beautiful job you did of telling the story.
That's Johnny Santana.
Yeah, Johnny Santana. Okay, but you see, I'm very incompetent when it comes to computers. And most of my crew was in Manhattan today. So I couldn't have them to do it for me. So I want it badly for next week, please. And anybody else, send me things that you write which tells a story of you or your life or somebody else. Because this is a miracle that I'm able to speak to you and that you're listening to me in different countries. And definitely not just miles away, but thousands of miles away. Right, Mary Lou? To me, that is a miracle. And let me go further with this, okay? Let this be us. The colors I'm using aren't determined yet. I'm going to be making dark clouds somewhere, which means what I have done, I have to go over. Parts of it, I cannot introduce clouds in between correctly. I need to repaint. Part of being somebody who cares very much, whether in writing or in music or in planting a garden or in making photographs as beautiful as Janine's of flowers. Doing something about something that means a lot. Shirley Baker, that includes you. It doesn't matter if it takes a lot of work. Nobody will know when you show it how many times you redid it over and over. Now, if any of you want to draw a tree and send it to me, I would love it. And if you say, will you correct anything? I was teaching for so many years. It's instinctive for me to say, yes, but could you try this? I promise not to. Okay? Now, let me show you what else I did. I visit my daughter a lot. And I wanted to do a gift for her because she also cooks well. And I don't have to cook when I'm there. She's a wonderful cook.
Should I switch the paintings?
Yes.
Okay. The tree is going back.
Goodbye, tree.
Oh, should I read some things about the tree first?
You do that while I'm switching
Yes.
paintings.
Okay. So, are you going somewhere, Hedy?
Joni's bringing the other one.
Yes. Stay where you were so that you're in the
I'm
camera.
staying right where I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Okay.
painted her backyard. And I did it in a way I've never painted before.
Good. So,
Can you see it?
Wait, I have to switch the camera focus.
and should I read the comments?
Yes. While
You
she's
know what?
while
Read the
she-
comments before I go to the
I'll
new
read
painting.
Yes, I'll read the comments. So Martha Bilski said, green is good. Spring. And John Terracuso said, hi, Hedy. And Lisa Volpe said, we vote for leaving the branches bare. And Tammy Smith said, but our thoughts are green, fresh, ageless, except for our increasing wisdom. And Michelle said, good evening, everyone, sending love. And Julie said, I love the branches.
Okay, let's shift to the tree.
Okay. What I did
The
here,
backyard, yes.
this is Joni's backyard. Joni feeds birds. Joni does 3 things every morning when she wakes up. First, she takes the dog out. And when she's in the yard, she feeds the birds. See the bird feeders? And then she feeds the dog. And then she feeds me. And then she feeds herself. And her backyard is a miracle because of the birds. They're all over the place. And my eyesight is not as good as it was, which is why when I did this subway scene, I made people big because I couldn't do faces the size of a fingernail anymore. And so what I'm doing now, I'm becoming more like an impressionist. After I had done it, it didn't look sunny because it was during a bad time. That was a time when they did not allow families with children to seek refuge here. And because I am alive, because Panama let my family and me have a visa and come to Panama. So I am alive. My brother, my mother, my father, and I escaped Hitler because Panama let us in. So for me, families waiting at the border and not being allowed in have a personal meaning. And somehow or other, the scene was dreary. I couldn't paint joy. And now things are changing. How they're changing is better. But we're not there yet. Because when I speak of Orchard Street, it's showing people helping each other. And Johnny and Willie, whose Lower East Side website I've joined, they're going to be giving me stories of the refugees of the Lower East Side helping each other and allowing each other to come in. Because they all brought families. Anybody on Orchard Street who made it into America brought in more family. And they made my country what it is. Because every one of you, except native-born
Native Americans.
Native Americans, fled here.
Well, not Africans.
Africans fled here also because, when they were in South and they were enslaved in the Underground Railroad and by themselves, I met them here in Orchard Street. And it's a funny thing. I was thinking, when I was a kid, Americans, when I came to Panama, Americans were a sacred breed. Tammy, listen to this, because you're in the military. To me, American military were from another world. They all wore starched white garments, because most of them were sailors. And the ones who hung out in bars and on the beaches wore white, starched white uniforms. And Tammy, When I saw your graduation services, I thought, why didn't I know this is also America? We did change, didn't we? And I'm hoping the way I'm now going to be painting impressionist ways, where I blur things, I'm going to try not to say colors as black, white, pink, etc. In any portrait that I do. If I do white people, I begin with a brown. If I do black people, I begin with a brown. If I do Chinese people, I begin with a tan. We are basically brown. Underneath, there's red blood flowing, and they change the color. If I were to put a piece of white, it's not me at all. And if I were to put a piece of black paper against a black friend of mine, only brown works. If nature knew that, why on earth are we so color conscious? Okay?
So I think we're out of time.
Oh,
But Kenny could read some comments.
okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read about the New Yorker still.
It's 7:30.
It's 7:30. Next week, I will tell you that cells speak to each other. And I'll tell you the story, okay? Okay. I love all of you.
And
Thanks.
Mom, should I just read the last comment?
Yes.
Okay, so, let's see. Sandy said, that is amazing. Love it, Hedy. And Shirley Baker said, lovely. And Marilu said, wow. And those are the comments. Those are the extra comments, the other comments.
Thank you. I love you people so much. Linda, notice I'm not saying eyes.
Oh, and Lisa says, thank you, Hedy. And Tammy says, we look forward to the story.
Wonderful.
Joe Tripp says, we all love you too, Hedy.
Thank you.